All right. It looks to me from my end that we are live. I'm watching, waiting for things to pop up for me here. Oh yeah. Oh, it definitely looks like we are live. Folks, welcome to Workshop Wednesdays. Today we are in our digital workshop space. We got to design some new toys. We need new toys. We got some great new toys coming. We've been working on those Luau exclusive Perry Von Vicious figures. Those will be on the merch table this weekend. There are very limited quantities. So if you're at Blitzkrieg Pro, move fast on them because they will not last. Those will 100% sell out. There are some pre-sales that are already spoken for. And what's on the table when you get there is what's available. So we're going to move on those pretty quick. But we need more. We always need more. You know, that's the thing about toy collecting and merch sales and the performing arts is you always need a little bit more. So I put out to the Discord, to the fine folks in my Discord, the question. I put out a little poll on what we should design next. And the choices were we could do a new Perry Von Vicious monster truck. We could do more of the minifigures, the muscle style figures, Hasbro style figures, a new Perry figure, maybe like a different version of Perry or a new enemy for Perry. And then the last option was to do a replica of a childhood toy that I need. Everything got votes. Everything was popular, but the breakaway star far out in the front was to do a new monster truck design. And I like that. I haven't had a monster truck toy for sale on the merch table in a few years now, and it's long overdue, quite frankly. Right? I mean, I think we can all agree on that. So that's what we're going to do. We are going to have a new monster truck design here. And the second most popular option was a minifig, another muscle fig. So maybe we'll find a way to sort of incorporate the two together. I don't know. We're gonna see how this goes. Dizzy Hellfire in the chat.
You can't give up. You gotta stand right up. You gotta run to a window and say,
"Hey, these floors are dirty as hell, and I'm not gonna take it anymore." Redeeming the hydrate on a hot Wednesday night. Welcome in, Dizzy Hellfire. We got that 100 bits going. That puts us pretty close to a hype train, and we got all kinds of cool stuff going on right now. Encrypted Cryptid, welcome in.
Welcome, my friend.
Related to Dizzy Hellfire.
Welcome, my friend.
Guys, if we hit a level 3 hype train, I have a very special Perry lore drop video from the year 2002. Very special video that I did a lot of work to dig up. So I'm hoping we get there. And if not, we're going to have a good time anyway. I took my mini guitar to the shop to get a little bit of work done on it. They know what to do. That's awesome. A good instrument can last forever. And it's such an amazing thing when you can get it tuned up and taken care of and properly maintained. You know, a lot of that you can do at home, but not all of it. Some of it requires an expert. Dizzy found my old truck. That's right. Dizzy has one of the OG trucks. So we are going to get started on this little. That's right. You had the Galaxy variant. I believe I called it the Galactic Chaos variant was the name I gave it. It had a very cool paint job. I was really pleased with how that worked. I used the airbrush and some hand painting techniques. Really a very cool project. So I have downloaded a file that we're going to use as sort of our base, our starting point on this. And there are a few things I want to consider, right? The first is, what scale are we working in? Are these going to be Hot Wheels scale monster trucks again to go with my previous ones? Are they going to be maybe a little bigger? We could make them close to scale with my muscle figures so that, you know, a Perry standing next to it would be to scale. Maybe that wouldn't matter that much. Maybe it doesn't need to be to scale. Maybe it's kind of cute that the muscle figure is a little bit bigger than it ought to be. Encrypted Cryptid with the 40 stream streak. Outstanding.
You did it.
That's awesome. And we both know that that streak is actually considerably longer than 40 because you're always here, my friend. And I appreciate it. I really do. Adam NX67 working on a toy project as well. The Perry Von Vicious Piston Cup participant. That's right. Gonna have a simple design for a paint job. I like simple. Simple's not bad. Sadly, not good at changing my strings. Changing strings isn't easy for everybody. So I don't blame you at all. All right. So let me see. I just want to see if this is gonna work. Because sometimes if I download a file, it won't import correctly, and we're gonna see if it's gonna. Oh, I think it's gonna work. I think it's gonna work. It's gonna take a minute. It's gonna have to sit there and think because Tinkercad has a way of doing that. But I have an idea for this particular truck design, and I'm pretty pleased. Hoping to get out my old guitar and give learning a shot again. I was a bass player in a previous life, not a good one. One of the beauties of loving punk rock, which I know we all do. I had a friend in high school who always joked that punk rock is what you got when you could afford the instrument but not the lessons, and there's a nugget of truth in that joke because punk rock can be really easy to learn. And I think having low barrier to entry on something, being able to become proficient to a level where like, hey, I can play a couple of songs. They're simple. It's Blitzkrieg Bop. It's Time of Your Life, Good Riddance by Green Day. So having some Brain Stew, simple songs like that, there's no shame in it being simple. Because once you get that and you get that foot in the door, then you proceed to learn the more complicated stuff. You start going like, oh, I want to learn a solo, or oh, I want to learn some more standard chords to play this other thing. Bass King Bobby, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
All right, so we are working on this design, and for those with a keen eye, you will see that what I have imported. Someone had pre-designed this, and I'm working from an open source design that was put up online. This is the same truck that I drive, my 1981 Volkswagen Rabbit pickup. I do need to import the bumper and the lights so that we can get those going, and the rear bumper and the rear lights as well, just to fill everything in. But I think we can start here. For our design, we do have to figure out scale, right? That's going to be one of the complicated things here is I want it to look cool with the minifigs, and I don't know if they need to be to scale. It might be okay if they're just close. Let's see, Dizzy Hellfire says 3 chords, D, A, and G. That's right. You can learn a lot with just 3 chords. Played in plenty of punk hardcore bands, never made it out of the practice room. 2-piece Marilyn Manson ripoff in high school, which actually had somewhat of a following. Oh, that's awesome. My improv grindcore band played 2 shows. Hey, that's more than a lot of people do. A lot of people never make it to that point. That's awesome. Just got back from jury duty. No, unrelated, can see through all of space and time. Helps put a cape on the second. Yeah. What if you did one with eyes on the windshield? Then you would have your own car's character. Adam NX67, but you're doing that one already. Yeah, I don't want to jump ahead and do what you're doing. So there's a few cool things we can do here. Right now we're going to work in about this scale because then we can group everything and make it smaller. So I am going to import a few things so that we can kind of group it all together. Let's go ahead and import. I'm going to bring in your rear bumper. We're going to have to position where it goes. It did start nice and centered. I love that. All right, let's get that side view. I like this view better. I feel like I get a firmer idea of what's going on. Okay, so let's go ahead and bring that up like there. Somewhere. I think that looks pretty good. I don't mind it being a little wide and a little wonky. I think it's charming is what it is. It's charming. Charming. Reed Cooper.
Welcome, my friends.
Welcome in. Yeah, it's true. Hot Wheels. Well, I mean, you know, they just had the return of Snakebite, and I'm pretty sure I got a good feeling. I think we're going to see a fresh Snakebite diecast, and we're overdue for that, quite frankly. All right, now let's go ahead and bring in. Boy, they really broke this into a lot of little pieces. We're going to have to combine everything, and then we can look at making this a monster truck. And we got all kinds of different like varieties of monster truck to consider. You know, do we want it on standard, the old Goodyear flotation tires? Do we want like something closer to like that really grippy, bitey Firestone that Bigfoot runs? Okay, we need to change our snap settings here down to like that. I didn't have the time. I wanted to update my my calendar because I do have a first time ever, a debut match that I just booked for the night before our all-day stream. The night before our all-day stream, I will be making a first time ever debut on a wrestling show, and I'm very excited for that. But yeah, folks, don't forget we got those new bit alerts. If anyone's looking to burn $2, we got new bit alerts at 193, 196, and 198, all brand new, custom made by me. I'm very excited to see when those pop up because I think they're very funny. And I want to stretch this forward just a hair, just to like there. Yeah. You tell Johnny to stop saying no to CPA. It's not up to Johnny. I mean, you know, Johnny doesn't book Blitzkrieg. You know, CPA had his chance. He hasn't won any matches. They told him he had to win. I would say either do the Bigfoot wheels or possibly Crimson Crusher wheels. See, I was thinking the Crimson Crushers, the dualies. I was thinking about doing those. I've done some in the past that had that, and I kind of think like a very classic monster truck wheel on this might look really nice on the merch table. But maybe we do variants. Maybe I mix it up a little bit. You know, maybe we have a couple that have like the Swampers on it or something. You know, maybe we do some little wheels and we make one a pulling truck. You know, I don't know. There's a lot of different ideas that we can run with here. Let's see. The next thing we need to import is going to be, there we go. Front grille. There we go. Oh, a couple with the tank treads. That's not a bad idea. I like where your head is at. It's taking a second to import. That'll happen sometimes. Oh, there it is. There we go. Oh, nice. That's all we need. That's going to look really good. Cool. That's going to look just like my truck. Oh, my goodness. I love this. Let's get a front view. Oh, come on. Come on. That is beautiful. I'm going to stretch it just a hair here. I just want to make sure that it kind of melds in with everything. I want it to all be one piece. You know what I mean? I'm personally not a fan of the "you gotta win" story. I'm usually willing to suspend disbelief, keep kayfabe, and the dumbest. Yeah, I mean, you know, look, I'm not about to speak ill of a company that's willing to book me. But I will say that I know for Johnny, he feels the same way about that storyline. Yeah, I don't know. Not my job. Not my job. I show up, I wrestle, I sell some merch, and hope for the best. All right, so we're looking pretty good. I feel like this is the solid start we need. I think we leave the truck bed. I like the classic truck bed. We could cover it up like a tonneau cover. And that does give a lot of room to like put like PVV across it. Like I've done that in the past where I do some raised text and I'll say like human monster truck or something. And we might still be able to do that. Only your job if they ask your opinion and then disregard it. You know, it's a weird way to put it, but thankfully they don't ask my opinion. That is, when Rip opened Pro Wrestling Grind, I gave him the first piece of advice I gave him was to simply say, I wouldn't wish running a wrestling company on my worst enemy. And I stand by that. All right. So the next thing I want to do, I want to plug up these axle holes. Cody Brooks, welcome.
Welcome, my friends.
Folks, if we manage to beat that bits goal, or if we manage to get up above the sub goal tonight, I will announce the theme and schedule for the upcoming all-day stream, July 11th. Going to be a big one, and I'm excited to tell you all about it. But either the bits goal or the sub goal, I'm happy for it to be either. And frankly, if neither happens, I'm just happy to be here and hang out. If we do manage to hit a level 3 hype train, that's the rule is level 3. I do have a crazy good Perry lore drop waiting in the wings. All right, let's go ahead and bring in a 3D printer. Print with doors openable, or do you need to print those separate? So depending on the design and depending on if I print with resin or filament. With filament, I definitely could. I could print openable doors. It could be a little tricky, but not undoable. With now to contrast that, with resin, the issue that you run into is that there is uncured resin kind of coating everything because of the way the printing process works. And no matter how good you clean that up, no matter how good you clean it, even in that fancy cleaner that we bought, when you put it in the curing light, there's going to be some there and it will cure it in place. And there's really no getting around that. That's right. Where's Perry? I want Perry. See, you get it. All right. So let's zoom way the heck in here because we want this to be very precise. I want it to really not stand out at all. Something like that ought to do. I'm going to get this and bring it over and yeah, same Z's. Look at that. Okay, and now we can sort of, not that it's really going to matter. Blocking it is blocking it, but we're going to cover that up real nice. Love that. Barry Von Platypus. You know, it's a thing that everyone references to me, but I never watched Phineas and Ferb. I don't know what it is. Hey, Perry. Too hot today. Got over 100. Can you maybe elbow drop the weather and pile drive it into submission? I'll do my best. I mean, if I could do that, the weather would behave here much more too, you know. All right, so Control D, make ourselves a copy. And then I'm going to bring this on back. And yeah, there we see it's not quite the same width in the back, but I think it'll do. Let's see what it's doing on the other side. Yeah, the other side looks good too. Okay. So we are going to take all of that whole mess. We're going to group that. And that is the base of our truck body. All solid, all one piece. I could put the lights in here. Should I put the lights in there? I think I don't want to use their file for the lights. I think I just want to like put something in there. You know what I mean? Like I don't like them being empty. Doesn't look right. Go ahead and just bring this in. Let's bump the sides way up to make it nice and smooth. The colors I chose for your piston cup racer are a dark red, described as barn red, and white. Think of making your number yellow, round out the whole Carolina Crusher. Yeah, and it'll look like my Carolina Crusher style trunks too, which is very cool. Yeah, I tried to watch Phineas and Ferb, couldn't really get into it. Yeah, I think you know, there comes a point where like certain shows, like if you'd aged out of that style of television already, like it's really hard for it to hit the way it does for the people who grew up with it. You know what I mean? And like vice versa, like if there's stuff that was like, oh yeah, that was before my time, like that never really hits the same for people either. All right, here we go. Here we go. This is doing exactly what I wanted. Yeah, I'm okay with that looking exactly like that. Now I will Control D. Bring it on over and just get it. Yeah, just about to match the other side. That looks good. All right, let's group that mess. There we go. All right, so I think the VW is pretty good. Look, I can't tell you all how excited I am that the new Perry monster truck toy is going to be a VW like my truck. This is actually really cool to me. So let's see. We can either like give it some kind of like gnarly cool engine coming out of the hood, or we can leave it to look like my truck. We could also customize it, like we can have some embossed writing on the side that we can then, like using a sponge for the paint, we can boop 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 and make it so it's a different color, and I think that's probably a pretty good idea. Let me see if I have, there is a text tool. It's kind of limiting on the different texts that we use, but I don't mind it. You know what I mean? It's not a problem. There we go. Goodness gracious. And let's see. Sans or sans mono? I think sans mono looks a little more like bold. I like that. Let's see. What happens if I... yeah, that's not what I need. What if I do this? Yeah, that's actually... Maybe that's not so bad. I know I can bevel these a little, and I like that. I like making them a little thicker and giving them a little bevel. I think that looks neat. It is, in fact, a 3D model of the Volkswagen Rabbit pickup, just like mine. So that's what we're working on. Nika Beans, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
All right. And we don't need this to say text. It could say PVV, it could say vicious, it could say all kinds of different things. I'm thinking we keep it simple and we just go with vicious. Does it have lowercase? Oh my gosh. It does. All right. Let's see. I don't like it with the lowercase. Vicious. All right, and then we just got to size it correctly. Because if we get this to print correctly, where it's a little bit embossed, you know, it will make it so we can use it, you know, for raised paint. I think that's going to look pretty cool. Let's get it to the height we want. I think like here, and then we probably want it to come back a little ways. Like let the door split between two letters, you know, make it look natural, right? Right? I think that's pretty good. All right, and now we can just sink it on in here. Something like about there. I think will look pretty good. And now we just got to copy it, flip it, and move it to the other side. And again, because I don't know the scale that this is going to end up being, I don't really want to, I don't want to commit to like, you know, getting it wrong. I want to, now let's see, did flipping it work? No, of course not. Let's try that again. Oh my goodness, that is not what we wanted. We want something like this. Yeah, that's what we want. All right. Looks like it sticks out about the same on both sides. So I am content with that. I think that looks pretty cool. All right, all right. I'd consider doing the Bigfoot Hot Wheels toys from the early 90s had a sort of a triangle in the back bed that a sticker would go on as a flag. I thought about that, but then I have to figure out getting custom stickers done up and putting them on there, and I don't know how well that's going to work. How well would a car like this do in a destruction derby? Well, that depends on a great many things. Are we talking about an actual VW Rabbit pickup? Because if it was against today's modern cars, it might do okay. Yeah, that's true. A Cricket would probably do it, and we do have that stuff. I just, again, because I don't know the scale this is going to end up in, I'm a little weary of that. Just because I don't want to find myself in a space where I'm like, oh, I can't make them that little, or oh, I'm going to mess them all up. Which brings me to an important point here, and I think I'm going to put a poll in the chat because I need your help. I need to figure out what scale to do this in. Let's see. And I think those are really my only options. Okay. We are going to start a little poll. I'm going to let it run here. There we go. There's a poll up there looking at what size we're going to work out here for scale. We could go standard Hot Wheels scale, make it look like, you know, our sort of classic other monster trucks, and some that I've done in the past. Which I'm not against. I think that people like that at the merch table when they know like the kid's going to bring it home and it'll match the toys they already have. I could go slightly larger so that it matches the muscle figs. Or we could go considerably larger. They do make like a 1/24 scale here, Robotic.
Welcome, my friends.
We're currently running a poll to see what scale we're going to make the new monster truck here, the new toy design. So everybody do your democratic duty and vote up in the poll there. I do know if I do make this in a 1/24 scale, it's going to be expensive. It's going to be pricey because that's going to take a lot of material and a lot of work. Yeah, so when I say slightly larger, I could do it at a scale where the muscle figure is actually the correct scale to the truck. That said, if I print it the size of this, the muscle size figure can definitely stand in the back bed for sure. Like it can definitely like stand there. It'll be about this tall, which is like a, you know, I'm actually probably pretty close scale. So it might be fine to leave it with those, you know, that might be okay. The other thing I had considered was, do I leave this plain? Do I purposely put a Perry coming out the window like I'm driving it? Or do we make it so that the muscle figure is a cool accessory to go with the monster truck? I think it's better as an accessory. We do have the same unicorn truck. That is courtesy of our good friend Mr. Adam NX67. And I loved seeing this truck in person back in March. That vlog is out now. You can see the Monster Jam show that I attended along with Hero Botic and Johnny Torres and Lil Botic, the boy. We had a great time, and boy, I'm loving that I'm going to go to another monster truck show soon. Can't announce it yet. The next monster truck show I'm going to will be announced on the day of the all-day stream, because we're doing something special about it. It's going to be special. Would you be the driver? You're a human truck, but are you a participant? So I've had toy monster trucks that I sold in the past that were very much like, had me kind of molded like the old 80s when they would be hanging out the window to drive. All right, the poll has completed. I like that we had a little bit of everyone voting for everything. The standard Hot Wheels scale has won out, and what's fun about that is this will be the first truly modern, like Spin Master Hot Wheels scale truck that I've made and sold, because the ones I made before were to scale with the old Matchbox Superchargers, which is a very similar scale, but the trucks were so much differently shaped. That I really kind of made them look more like that. But we're going to go with this. We're going to go with this as our scale. And that means we're going to be customizing the shape of the wheels to sort of match this. And we're going to be stretching the body to match this. So I'm going to break out. And it's been a little while since we've done some design here on the stream. I got the Kaiju Big Battle joke. Old unicorn party. I'm going to break out one of my favorite tools. I haven't done design work on the stream in a bit. It is my digital calipers, my digital micrometer. An incredible tool. They make plastic versions of this that are a bit cheaper. I had one for a long time. It finally crapped out on me. I bought the metal one. Still not very expensive. I want to say this was maybe $15. And what I love about it, and you'll be able to see it because we have this slightly nicer camera now, is in millimeters to the 100th of a millimeter, it does give me a readout that tells me exactly the size I'm working with. So useful. So incredibly useful. All right, so we have our basic body. So what I'm going to do is using our good pal Sparkle Smash, I'm going to get some measurements so we can figure out what a standard Monster Jam scale toy in the year 2026 measures. And from front to back, it's looking like it is almost exactly 90 millimeters. So we're going to go with that. And I think what I want to do is I'm going to take that and that. We're going to group it all together. Oh, I hate the color it made it. Oh, I don't enjoy that at all. Let's make it the same color as mine. Where's mine? That's what mine looks like. Still grouping, that's why that's red. But let's see. We take this and we bring it down till this number is about 90. We can go a little north of 90. Why not? Why not make it big and cool? You know, just let's have some fun. So that's going to be our body, which I think is a great starting place. Now, we could use a pre-existing chassis that I have from other designs. We could. But what I'd like to do is make a new one, a sort of simplified chassis. We're gonna put some details into it, but I want it to be a little bit simple so that painting it is a little bit easier. You know, I don't want to be fussing to try to get into hard to reach places, because I want to make these to sell. And that is a detail that I did on a toy for myself, kind of as a proof of concept. we don't need to do that. We can make this much, much easier and still have it look awesome and still have it fit in with the Monster Jam aesthetic. So what I want to do, because this has a nice flat bottom to it, we are going to start with sort of a square that's going to match this. And then we're going to build down kind of a blocky version of this shape. And then we will add all the little details, the shock absorbers, all the correct bars, the engine, all of that stuff. We can add that stuff in. And it's going to, rather than, if this is the side of the body, rather than pieces that are out like this on their own, they're going to sort of be melded in. So there'll be raised details that you'll see, but they won't be their own piece. And I think that's going to do a lot to strengthen the design. It's also going to do a lot to make painting it much more doable so that there's a more uniform look to the paint job. This is one of the things when you're designing something for molding and casting, you are taught is you don't want overhangs. You don't want pieces that are out sort of on their own. And keeping to that is really important, like really important. Okay. We are going to move that here, and I'm going to flip this upside down for a minute because I want to bring in a cube here, get a top view. And we're going to put it about here, flip it over. I'm going to bring it up till it's not really an issue. I don't want it to look weird. I want it to all fit between these wheel hubs. So we'll take this to about there. This to about here. It's looking pretty good. And I want to stretch this all the way back to about there. And now we can bring it down to there-ish. And that's going to be sort of the plate that we're going to work from. I was sort of debating, do I make this all one piece with the truck here? There's an argument for that for sure. I think maybe the better move is, I don't want this to go in too far. I think maybe the better move is to have two separate pieces, again, for the ease of painting. So what we're going to do, get this really to like the size I want it to be. And then I am going to radius it just a little bit. Just a little bit. I just want to soften those edges. And I'm going to Control D. And now I'm going to make it just a little bit bigger. I want to go a little bit smaller. Let's go a little bit smaller. Let's go just a little like there. And now I can take the small one out, put the big one back, and let's make sure it's nice and even where it is. Okay, looking good, looking good. I like that as my process for this. I do want the two pieces to meld together very smoothly, so it's a little hard. Yeah, okay. So then here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to copy this, Control D, and I'm actually going to make this a little bit bigger. Something like about there, but then I'm going to shrink these edges in, find where that other piece was and go just proud of it. Same here. Just a little bit past it. There we go. Now we can bring this down to like here. I think is pretty good. Yeah. Feel good about that. All right, so now what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this into a negative. I'm going to combine these two pieces. Hate that it keeps turning them red. Let's make it blue for a bit. But now, I'm going to combine these two pieces. Group that. And that's going to give us a place in the bottom where our chassis can connect with this, because they are going to be glued together. It's going to be a very simple piece, but I do want them to I want there to be sort of a mechanical connection, if that makes sense. I just got to wait for that to catch up with me. Tinkercad can run pretty slow sometimes. Okay. Okay. Yeah, that's going to take a minute. And while it's doing that, we can actually go ahead and find some of the parts we're going to need. I do think we're going to go with a classic monster truck tire here. We had these that I designed before that are pretty, I think they look pretty cool once they're printed. So let's go ahead and open that up and just see what that, I remember this being one that I really liked, and we can reshape this to match our Sparkle Smash tires. And this will be one where I'm printing the tires on their own, the chassis on its own, and the body on its own. And the axles, I have some aluminum rod I'm going to use. That way the whole piece is much, much stronger, and it's going to roll much more nicely. I had considered going a little bit crazy and saying, you know what, we're gonna make the whole thing like actual rubber tires with my squishy resin that I use for the championship belts. I'd considered doing all that, but then I realized it's going to take me forever to crank each of these out, and that resin, while it was free to me as a test, to replace it and get more is very expensive. It's a very expensive printing resin, and the price of these things would skyrocket, because really what I'd like to do is sell these for what I was selling them for 5 years ago now when I made the first ones. I would like to sell these for a flat 20. I think that's a really nice piece for something handmade by the wrestler involved. Okay. So we need to maintain that hole there. And I'm really hoping that if I click ungroup, that is the only part that ungroups. Okay, the rest of it ungrouped, and that is okay. That's okay. We can work with that. We just got to make sure that it all goes back together the way it should. Would you take a scrunched 20? I would take a scrunched 20. I'm not against that. Okay, good. Yeah, this is right where I wanted this. Okay. So this piece, okay, that's not what I wanted it to do. This piece, we are going to move out. And now the rest of this, we're going to reshape. That's right. Soda Pop, welcome in.
Welcome, my friends.
We are designing a Perry Von Vicious Hot Wheels scale monster truck. And one of the things we're working on right now is to get the tire the scale that we want it. So I'm using my digital calipers, and we're going to get some measurements here. We need this to be, these are much skinnier than I normally print my tires. I like big fat tires on my toy trucks, but I want this to match. If a kid takes it home and goes, oh, I have a Hot Wheels at home, I want it to look like that. So that is 21 millimeters wide. So we're going to do exactly that. Oh, I'm pretty close. Pretty close. Nickabeans, I don't know what to make of that, but I love it. It's great. But yeah, I hope everyone's having a good night. Once again, for anyone who's just rolled in, if we break our sub goal or our bits goal, I will announce the theme and schedule for the upcoming all-day stream on July 11th. And if we hit a level 3 hype train, I have a very special Perry lore drop video from the year 2002, a very old video. So 36.6 is what that says. So let's just... let's go up to 36. Make that a half and go to 36 and a half. Now we are going to have to readjust that width again, but that's okay. We said was 21, 29. I don't remember. How wide was this? Okay, yeah, 20, well, like 20.5 is what it said that time. So we're going to make it like pretty close. So let's go here and let's tell it we want 20.5. Yeah, that's looking the shape of these. These are very sort of like taller than they are wide. So that's gonna match real nice. I like that. Feeling good about that. He's jealous of that.
He's jealous of that.
Guys, look, I'm doing the best I can to design this stuff. I'm not the most talented designer, but I try hard.
I can't draw a straight line. I don't have the talent.
All right. So here we have our piece that is hollow piece meant to reflect the hole where our axle is going to go. Oh, Tobias, you blowhard. All right. I really try to get this centered here because otherwise the tire is going to roll all wobbly. All right. Let's just real quick. Let's pop it on in there. Get this view. Come on. There we go. Okay. So it's centered that way. Real nice. All right. Feel good about that. He's jealous of that. I think that's pretty centered. All right. Now the question becomes, how far in there do we need it to go for the axle to stick? I think that's probably pretty good. We'll go a little further, make sure it's not causing trouble on the other end. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay. Cool. The only other thing I want to do is I want to put a little bump here. You'll notice if the camera picks it up in this purple part here, in the back of that tire, there is a little bit that comes out and that just keeps the tire from rubbing on the sides of the suspension. And I want to mimic that. I want to do that same thing. I think that is a really good idea. But I'm going to use this piece to do it. Control D. And then I'm not sure how to... yeah, it's going to be a little tricky. All right, let's just make it the size we think it should be. Then I'm going to bring this way the heck back to like there. Way the heck back to like here. Get our view from over here, and we're going to try to center that for the most part. I think that's pretty good. Should it be thicker? Should it be bigger than that? Let's get a look. How does that line up? Yeah, it's gotta be bigger than that. Well, that's okay. We can do that. Yeah, let's go like something like that. And then boom, mostly centered. Mostly centered is the name of the game here. And then we're gonna have it come out like there. You know, it doesn't have to come out real far, just a little bit. All right, so now we're going to take that, we're going to make it into a solid. Make sure it's not poking through on the other side. We're going to group those. Nice, nice and fast. I love that. And now we're going to group that. And it's taking its time again. Let's see how the other one's working. The other one is still chugging along. I hate that. Tinkercad can really slow things down sometimes, but it is so easy for this kind of geometric design. Yeah. I wonder where Joey Nails is. I know he wanted to be here for the toy making. The busy guy. Busy guy. Yeah, in case anyone has $2 to burn. There are new bit alerts that I'm still waiting to see them go off. They are at 193, 196, and 198. And I think they're hilarious. They're silly little things that I made just for all of you. And at one point, those are going to go off. It's going to happen. All right. I'm going to try refreshing this and just see what happens. See if it's already good or if it's still working. All right, this is looking great. All right, that's what I wanted here. So this we're going to copy and put over into the other file. Thinking about putting Bacabella's burgers on the hood. Should I make a large burger on the hood with the name over it? Put a logo with a small burger to the side? That's a tough call. That's a tough call. I think the large burger with the name over it might be cool. I think that could work. Yeah, where's Joey? As soon as you said that, he should have set off the command. Get Bacabella's burgers, step right in the ring. All right, so it's not wanting to open, and I hate that. Let's see if it'll work this time. Stupid Tinkercad. Come on. Do as I command. Do as I command. I'm going to open a new 3D design for the suspension. I think that's the move, is to kind of do these in different pieces. We're going to drop that tire in. Also going to copy this piece because this is sort of the base of what we're working from. This will give us a good foundation to start from. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. Realizing now that I definitely also need the body in here. Node fails to load. Failed grouping shapes. Come on, man. Do better. Lose that. Let's see what happens if I just copy this and put it in here. Oh, it did take the whole thing. So that might be good. That certainly sounds like it's grouped. It brought the whole thing in here at once. Right? Like, that seems good. All right, I just want to check how this lines up now. Oh, it's definitely too small. Okay. Well, that's good. That's why we're here. Why is the vicious backwards on that now? Dang it. What is happening? Yeah, it's backwards on both. What is happening? Oh, I know what's happening. I just have to do this. I have to go. Yeah, that's weird. Boy, that's weird. Don't know how I feel about that. All right. We are going to make this the right size. Come back to here. Over to there. And that will fit. Okay. Cool, cool, cool. Cool. Cool, cool. Okay, yeah. Only the stuff didn't load. Oh, Tinkercad. You worthless piece of junk. Go. Just see what happens if I hit the ungroup button and then if I like redo it. Let that run for a while. Oh yeah, it's getting there. I think it did it. Just about did it. Yeah, I think that's going to work. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. It is a shame when this thing acts up on me, but all right, so we have this to scale already. We got this piece. So now what I want to do is just for visuals, let's figure out how tall is this entire truck, because we want the stance to be similar. Right? Like I want it to have a similar height when all is said and done. It looks like height-wise, if I don't count the horse main, because it's kind of cheating there, it's going to be about 71 millimeters. So let's see. We can. How tall is this piece? Okay. 27.2. 71 minus 27. We're all watching a English major do math in real time. A wild ride on this stream, let me tell you. All right, so I need 71 minus 27-ish. 44. So we need this thing to be 44 millimeters in the air. That's so high. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm okay with it though. Get the right hand view. Let's go ahead and get to that. And okay, I mean, I'm kind of seeing it. It's going to be back a little bit. Front view. So this is going to sit somewhere about like that. Okay, I'm not totally against this. I might like it to ride a little lower, so we may adjust. We may adjust a little bit. And this needs to flip this away. There is a right way and a wrong way for monster truck tires to face, folks. Don't forget it. Okay, and then this one, I think we want it to be just a little bit ahead of that wheel well. Yeah, like, see, this looks pretty okay. Now, as far as distance between wheels goes, that's another thing to consider because the stance on these is always really wide. Okay, straight and compressed. It's at about 100 from end to end. So I think what I want to do is take this and bring it back till it's about lined up. Close enough anyway. And then I'm going to bring it forward. Let's see, that's 58. 36. I need it to be 100, so I need it to be 42 forward. Or another. All right, let's try this math over again. All right. This thing is 36.5 and it needs to be 100. End to end. Okay, clear. And we need to go 63.5 forward. So it wants me to be like right there, which I believe is going to mean that we want to go like something like that. And frankly, I do think we can give this a slightly lower stance, right? Like, that's not just me. Like, I think we all agree that like that's going to look a little bit cooler. And do we keep the tires set like that? Or do we go a little like this, set them forward? Yeah, maybe something about like that. I think that's going to look pretty cool. And just for the heck of it, just for visuals, we are going to copy those. We're going to flip them. And then with our back view, just going to bring them over till about where they'll sit, which would be right about there, because this suspension is going to come straight down and not bump into these. So these might actually be in just a tiny bit. Same with this one. Like just, no, don't want to do that. I just want to go boop, boop. Oh, it's jumping. I didn't change the, didn't change my snap settings. Yeah, and then let's come here and put it in the middle-ish. We got to change that snap grid. Something about there-ish. And I think that gives us what we need here. I think that is looking like a great start, right? I think that's going to have a very cool stance to it. Put a little muscle Perry right next to it. So this whole thing, height-wise, is 100 millimeters high. I know that the Perry muscle fig, I believe, is 50, something like that. I can actually pull one out of the case here, maybe. Let me see if I can get it. Yeah. Nice part about those shelves we made on the all-day stream. Got my figures right here. So the height on this is about 100. And the height of the Perry minifig is about 44. A little bit less than half the height. I actually think that's going to look pretty good. Let's put, I could have done this earlier. Do we think that's a good scale? I think that's actually pretty close to real scale. I am taller than the monster truck tires, but not much taller. Like, that feels about right. That looks like you could get in and want to drive that. I think that's really nice. It's gonna work really well. I'm gonna keep this guy out so I can have him for reference. That's gonna work, I think. Close that display case a bit. There we go. That's right. I could put some branding on the tires, like just like a PVV or something. And I may. These ones look pretty clean as they are, so I might not bother. And I want to make sure everything's going to print really nicely. Okay. Now I'm back over to this and seeing if this is going to work right. I'm going to let that run while I jump over into another. We can lose that and we can stay here for now. Okay. So what we need to do here, Perry, could I commission a minifig of you that can fit in my old Galaxy truck? Maybe. I mean, you'd have a hard time getting them in there because they're not really like open for it. Like the windows on the Unicorn are very small, and there's a I don't know if it'll be visible on camera, but there is a roll bar piece that goes right in the middle of it, so it would be very hard to get them in there. And for the other truck has a solid body with a little Perry already coming out of it. That said, fitting in the trunk. Maybe honestly, like I think this guy is pretty close to the right size. Thankfully, I'm glad to see it. Although who knows? Maybe Fresh Youngman is a better figure with it. He's already wearing a helmet. Really should wear a helmet in a monster truck. You know what I mean? Okay, this did not tell me that it failed, but it seems to have failed. So let's do that and just see what happens. Oh, okay. That seems a little better. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having trouble telling if Tinkercad's playing nice or not, so I'm just going to keep doing my work and hope that it's okay. All right, so back over into our design. What I want to do here, so this guy is going to nestle up into that body. Let's pop him on up in there. It's going to nestle in about like that. And then center it a little bit because we're going to use all of this for spacing. It's going to sit about like that. So now what I can do is I can take this and get it out of the way. Because now we have the top of our... Everyone should wear a helmet in a truck like that. Yeah, there was a time when it was not commonplace, oddly enough. So I got our little top of our suspension here. I want to make sure that that is the right length and sitting where I want it. Yeah, that's right where it needs to be. Oh, no, wait, everything shifted back. Why did it all shift back? What is happening? This is incorrect. Okay. All right. All right. Who's the Joker? I want it about there. Okay. Get that out of the way. This is what we're going to build our suspension on. Okay. So basically our suspension is gonna end up being sort of two oddly shaped triangles. And then we're gonna add some like details to it. You know what I mean? So let's take this one and bring it in. Say, let's go like, let's see. A few different ways to do this. It may take multiple shapes to make this happen correctly. Bring it on up. And then we're going to bring that in just a little. All right, all right. That's a good width. Get our right hand view. We're going to bring this over to like here. I want to drop it down until it's going to be in that axle. We're going to stretch it on up till it sinks into that piece. Yeah, it's true. On the really old monster truck videos, they're in like t-shirts and jeans or like overalls and like know like baseball caps while they drive them. It's crazy. And considering like they didn't even have like the 5-point harnesses and stuff at that time, it was literally just like the seatbelt that came standard in the truck, and sometimes they didn't even wear them. Like some of those trucks had bucket seats, which is bonkers, like absolutely bonkers. Okay, and here is where this gets a little bit interesting because we need this to come forward, and I have ways to do that. Just want to see something. I want to make sure this is still where it's supposed to be. Yeah, that still seems right to me. Okay. Just making sure. So then what I think I want to do is change the angle on this. So let's go to like here. Actually, it looks like we need to go a little bit more extreme with this. Something like about there is going to give us what we want because I'm going to put a piece on this. But that's actually not bad. That's pretty good. See what happens if I stretch this back. Does that? Oh, that can work. That can work. Now we're getting somewhere. Day without darkness. Welcome in. Wait, hang on. There we go.
Welcome, my friends.
Yeah, that's going to work. I like that. I like that a lot. All right. So now what I'm going to do is we have our width the way we want it. And actually, I can go just a hair more narrow with that. Something like about there. Now I can copy this triangle and kind of work from there. And I think we'll be on to something. Here. Yeah. Got a good feeling about this. This is going to be a neat project when this is done. This may be a multi-stream endeavor, getting all the design elements done correctly, but I think we're really on to something here. So I want to make a copy of that. Now we're going to move it back. And I want to mirror it. Flip it that away. Now this doesn't have to be quite as extreme an angle, I don't think. Or we can come back with it. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Boom, boom. We'll go to about there. Yeah, this is okay. Yeah, now we're getting somewhere. I'm going to stretch that to like here. Stretch this to like here. Get them intersecting. Why is one skinny all of a sudden? What the heck is that about? No idea what did that. I wish it hadn't. All right. Go ahead and just try to match. If it's not exact, that's okay. The world won't end. All right. And now we just got to fill in that gap, and we're going to do that with another one. But for that one, we're going to go with like this one. Shape that should work a little. All right. Let's the old 90 degrees. Gonna mirror that. And now I can steal some numbers here. So this is 18.7. We're gonna make that match. Now. And now we can come to about here-ish. Go up to like that. Get it nice and sunken in there. A little bit less. There we go. Go to like here or so. Now we'll center it so that it's all one uniform thing. Lovely. Now we can fill in the blanks by just giving it the old stretcheroo. The old stretcheroony. Like that. And a little bit more. A little bit more. Okay, a little bit less. There we go. Don't want it sticking out the ends. Let's see if we go. Might have to use 2 of these. Oh my gosh, I'm going to have to use 2 of these. Unreal. Okay. Well, take it back to there. We'll Control D. Now we're going to shrink it on down and boom, fill in like that. Now we got one nice solid, that's going to work. That's lovely. That's what I was looking for. Again, I'm going for like simple on this part because we're going to gussy it up with other stuff later. Group. All right. For this, I want to go with like the gray. Yeah, and like being able to see a little of that, like the disparity in the design there, that's really not an issue to me. Unless it's like really extreme. Yeah, maybe we can... bring it. Okay. That. Take this one and just... yeah, we'll call that good enough. And once again, we will pick our pieces and group them. Slightly easier color to work with. Okay. And now I want to give this like a thing that's going to hold these axles on both ends. So for that, very quickly going to ungroup this just to keep this piece. This piece is important. Copy of that. Okay, let's not do that. Okay, let's not do that either. Come on. Work with me, machine. Stretch that across. Lovely. That's what we wanted to see. And now I can come back here. Select those. Deselect that one, reselect that one, and regroup. In a second, that'll be its own thing. All right, now we gotta give this a little chunky bit to connect with, a little chunky connection bit. For that, I'm gonna want to go with one of these cylinders here. Increase the sides, make it look cooler. Actually, I think if we bevel this, that's going to look kind of cool. All right, and let's go ahead and pop it on its side there. We're going to shrink this on down to like something right around there. And we'll raise it up till that's about in the middle of it there. I like that. I like that a lot. Gonna work very nicely. Now we'll bring it back till it's about in the middle of that as well. And now we just set it to the width that we want. I think just a little bit past that is going to be nice. That'll give us a little leeway there. Okay, let's get a look. Looks pretty even. I can probably... Yeah, good enough. Close enough. Can we customize the hubcaps? I mean, like our hubs here? Maybe. Maybe. I used to do the solid ones, like the old snake bite, because it was a little bit easier to print. But the final product when I've done these looks really nice. Like, it looks really nice on the ones that I've made. So it's a tough call. It's a tough call. All right, so now I'll take this, and I will take this, and I will Control D that whole mess. Move it back, and then we will go here. Let's just get that centered. Looks good to me. It's great right about there. Everything lines up in a way that makes sense. I like that. All right. Well, that's fantastic. Okay. So now I need to take that and that and that, along with that and that. We're going to group that whole mess together. Turn it back to gray. Okay, so there we have the skeleton of our suspension. I feel good about that. Let's pop over and see if this is behaving yet. No, not really. Oh, maybe it is. Maybe it's okay. Let's try grouping those pieces and see if it behaves. It might. Yeah, you never know. You might get lucky. The whole thing could decide to behave all at once. All right, so now what I'm going to do is take these four wheels and we are going to move them out of the way. Have you figured a way to get the Wi-Fi strong enough that you can send it down to the printer to start testing while you work on it? So here's the thing about my printers. If I'm printing on the filament printers, I've already set that up so that it's not about Wi-Fi strength. It's just about what the machines can do. They do not have Wi-Fi capability, but I did build them their own little Wi-Fi network on a Raspberry Pi. And it is on all the time, and I can, in fact, send files from here to the filament printers to print. The resin printers do not have Wi-Fi capability at all. Like, there's no interface that will work for that. They require a thumb drive to send stuff. And if I can, I'm going to do all the printing on these. I like that these are not fully centered. I don't think that matters because it's just aesthetic. But that's pretty funny. I think, in fact, I can fix those. So it can't be a cost issue because at least one of the printers I have is like the printer to have. It's just not how they do it for some reason. I'm not really sure why that is. This is good. I can get all nitpicky and just fix this. Yeah, that looks good. But I mean, for most people, it doesn't really matter. For most people, they have their computer right next to their printers. Like, that's how most people sort of set up. I don't do it because it's much easier for me because I've got this whole rig for gaming and everything. And I put all the printers down in the basement because they take up a lot of space. And this office during the day is my wife's working office. So having a bunch of printers in here making a bunch of random noise would probably not be well received. Okay. So this is looking, those could actually probably go a little bit wider. Get the back view. Yeah, we might make those a little wider. That's what we're going to do. Yeah. center and get the bottom view. I'm going to take that and that. We're going to say it's going to go to like here and like to here. And that's going to give us a little leeway for some of the design stuff I want to do. It'll push the tires out just a hair, like actually to about where they are now. And I think that's going to have a pretty clean look. So I feel okay with that. Let's regroup those. Let's turn it back gray, because to me that's kind of a nicer working color. Let's see how this other one's behaving. Still not really behaving. Every so often I'm just going to mess with this and see what it's doing. Yeah, man, Tinkercad is a weird critter, the way it behaves. But, you know, not the end of the world. All right, so now what we want to do is design some suspension stuff on here to sort of match the Monster Jam toy, so that we have sort of a similar aesthetic. It's not going to be exactly the same, and that's fine. But, you know, I do want to give it, you know, a little detail. I want people to look at it and go like, wow, he put some work into that. Yeah, I do have to go down to the printers anyway to do anything with them, and I'm okay with that. You know, it's not so bad. I could use the steps, you know, doesn't hurt. All right, so I think the first thing I want to do is all of these corners are going to get a sort of tie rod working on them. So we need to figure out what the length and design look of our tie rods is going to be. Get sort of just a baseline aesthetic for that. So let's go ahead and make this nice and long. Let's increase the sides so that it doesn't look quite so robotic. Definitely want to bevel them on the ends. And let's go ahead and start shrinking and stretching. So go to like there, go to like there, go to like this. I think the bevel can be less now that we've done that, now that I'm getting a better look at it. And let's just see, because I don't want these to be too extreme, but I want you to be able to see them. You know? So it's a fine line. So let's make it a little bit less, but a little bit more. And I think that might be the look. I think that might be the look. Yeah, I think that's it. All right. So we're going to shrink that on down. All of them, the bevel is going to be a little wonky. It's going to be a little different on all of them, but this is such a small detail. Like genuinely, this is just for me. Like this is the kind of thing that only I will notice or care about. So I want it to look right for me. You know what I mean? That's something I talk a lot about with this toy making stuff, is like, I like the idea. See, now when I stretch it, it's going to get all oblong and weird, right? Maybe it'll be okay. Yeah, I think it's okay. All right, now we'll go here and here so that it's coming out on all sides, but it's molded in. It's not of its own accord. It does seem like it needs to be a little bit more. Yeah, there we go. That's maybe a bit more what it needs. Yeah, nice. Good. Good, good. I think that looks okay. So let's go ahead and select that and Control D. We're just going to come over and match it on the other side. Now, I have done these in the past where what I would do is literally just do one whole side and then copy it all and put it over. I may do that again. But for now, I just want to, I want sort of a visualization of what this will do. I'm going to Control D. Now, flip it that way. Bring it back because I think that should just about line up. Yeah, I think that's going to give us about what we want there. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Even give it a little bit more and drop it down a little more. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Make sure this isn't having the same issue on this side. Nah, I think we're good. I think we're looking good there. I hope everyone's excited for the all-day stream. Just in a few weeks now. I know I'm looking forward to it because I had a great time with the last one. Like, genuinely, had a really good time. All right, so now we're going to run one up here and one down here, and then we will take a careful look at the design on here and see if we can't match some of these. We don't have to match exactly, but I want to get something relatively close so that it looks, for lack of a better way to put it, I want it to look like it is of the same universe. You know what I mean? Okay, so let's go ahead and first let's just get it pretty close to straight. Fourth of July, England versus, did that end up happening? Because I heard some people online saying like, wow, that might end up being what happens here, and that would be crazy. Like, I heard some rumblings that could be the match, but it seemed a little too good to be true. I really hope they stomp us. Segments, what's that do? Okay, no, I don't want that. Okay, I don't want that. Why is that looking terrible? Don't like the way that these stretch. All right, I'm starting over on these because I do not like the way they're behaving. So let's go ahead and I think what I need to do, start with one, make a copy, and then sort of run them all off of it afterwards. You think that can be a little skinnier? Okay. And then yeah, we'll bevel this a little bit. Bring the sides up a little. Okay. All right. Now we got something to work from. Let's move it out of the way. Let's go ahead and make a copy. Now looking at it, I can tell about how big it'll need to be. Not exactly, but about. It'll need to be something like about there. Looking like it might get ruled out. I don't know what that means. I don't know enough about soccer to know what all. Like, I know there's like leagues and things, and you can get relegated, and I know some of that stuff just because I'm a big fan of the Vlog Brothers. So I get little bits of their stuff going on in my world, and they talk about it on their podcast. All right, let's go ahead and see how this is lining up. Come over a little, and that makes that disappear, but it's still sticking out on all sides. Good, good. That's what we want that to be. Okay. So now I think a good cheat here is going to be bringing this over and lining it up with that. At least pretty close. It can probably come out a little bit more. Right, like yeah, something like here, I think is pretty good. All right. Once again, this is all a lot of trial and error. This is, the interesting thing about toy making, and specifically with like 3D design CAD work for toy making, is like there's always this balance that you're finding between like design, making parts work together, and like the art where you're going, no, I just like this to look like this. Not everything is a carbon copy. Not everything is precise. And that's sort of where we're finding ourselves here. Okay. Well, let's get a rough idea if this is going to be about the right length. Definitely going to be a bit too long. So we're going to pop it back up, shrink it on down. Now let's get an idea. Is that going to be pretty close? It still needs to be a little bit shorter. I'm going to make a copy, get it out of the way. Always important. Make a copy. Make a copy. Yeah, I don't know what ruled out means in soccer. Shrink this down a little. And that's looking pretty close to even just being the right angle. Not exactly, though. That's closer. What is it going to be? Now we can really see the angle we want it to be. We want it to be like there. And it's okay if this is a little wonky here, because you will never see it. The tires are going to hide this part really, really cleanly. So I feel good about that. I know this is not quite the same angle, or the same length for that matter. So we're going to have to figure that out, but just for the heck of it, let's just try flipping it and bringing it over. Like, oh, maybe it is about the same. I seem to remember the triangles being very similar. Okay, well, let's get a look and see how we're connecting, because we don't want any loose bits. We want it all sunk in. That's actually stellar. That is excellent. Very pleased with that. Okay. And I do want one to come right here, and I'm guessing, based on what we've already seen, if I do that, bring it on back, it should about line up. So let's get a look here and see how it's behaving. To me, that looks pretty good. Yeah, I'm pleased with that. I think that looks good. All right. Good. So now we need to fill in the suspension here a little bit with a few more of these rods, and then I want to put shock absorbers, which is going to be a little tough with the way this front end is shaped right now, but not not undoable, you know? Like it'll work. We just got to get creative about it. So I think if we do a couple up here, and then we do, looking at this piece, a couple more that kind of follow this line, but like out a little. I think that'll work. Yeah, let's give that a shot. Control D, and then we're going to alter that angle just a smidge, just a little bitty bit. And we're going to bring it over because we're going to give this all a central hub here. This is still deep behind the tire, so this won't be visible. I'm okay with this kind of just floating out here. Like that's something we got to remember is like these massive monster truck tires will hide a multitude of sins. You know, like let's bring them back in and show. Okay. It's the hold up here. There we go. Oh, I see. It's just Tinkercad chugging along. There we go. So they're going to sit about right there. So like, yeah, you can't see the ends of those like at all. Like that's gonna cover a multitude of sins. In fact, I don't even know if we're going to be able to put like a shock absorber in there because I don't think there's going to be space to show it. Yeah, we might have to just continue with the tubes and then put like some little like indications of some engine exhaust pipes or something coming off. Yeah. Interesting. All right. Well, this is why we kept these pieces in the frame for test fits. Okay, let's try. Now that I'm back here and nothing loaded correctly. I know there's a thing I can do here to save an image piece. Shapes. Export. Should be like a save the shape. Not here. Yeah, I'll have to figure out where that was. There was a thing before where you could save custom shapes for like later use. Feature. My creations. Yeah, see, because I got all these in here. Question is, how do I create shape? See what that does. Yeah, we'll let that spin for a little bit. Good stuff. All right. We're going to take this. Control D. We're going to continue. We want this to all look pretty symmetrical. And then we will bring it on back. Got our 4-link bars all set and good to go. Now I want to do some pieces here to kind of connect it. So we're going to take this, Control D, get over this way. This piece is going to be way short. Something like about there is probably good. Let's go to like there. Where it disappears in. Bring it on over to here. Yeah. Getting somewhere now. Now we're making some progress. Okay, let's not do that. First of all, let's see. Is that not enough? Yeah, okay. That's looking okay. Yeah, I think that works. Control D. Once again, going to mirror it. We'll take it over to about there. Yeah, this is going to look pretty slick when we're done. Control D that one. Now I'm going to bump it one more. Bring it down. Get over. Now this is where it gets tricky because I am going to let this become a bit oblong. But you shouldn't be able to tell really once all is said and done. Yeah, we'll just go like about like that. That's really good. All right. I'm gonna flip that and then mirror it on the back. Yeah, okay. Got us a little suspension going here. Kind of a vague idea of a suspension, but we're not going to be able to see a lot because those tires are going to cover a lot. And we got kind of a low stance on the truck. Should I put some shock absorbers on here just for the heck of it? And if I do, should they almost certainly be the old school like coilovers? Should, right? Probably ought to. All right, but for now, I think I'm ready to copy all this and put it on the other side. So let's go ahead and busted me. Go ahead and Control D. Now, just for spacing purposes, I am going to mirror it. And then I'm going to, no, not do that. There we go. That's what I wanted. Okay, come on. Why would it deselect all those? All right, now let's go ahead and let's do it again. Go ahead and we'll mirror it. Now we can get our front view and just try to match it on the other end. Try to get as close as we can. Something like about there seems about right. Get a look. Oh yeah, that's what we came here to do. All right, great. Good. We need some suspension here and here, I think. A lot of different ways to get that to look the way we want it, and I think we're going to start with this guy again. So let's go ahead and just get him set to the right length, I think is the most important part. Dizzy Hellfire redeeming a hydrate. Thank you, Dizzy Hellfire. Folks, we got about 30 more minutes to the stream. If we want that Perry lore drop, we're going to have to move on it quickly. Just something to think about. Doesn't have to happen. Definitely doesn't have to. We'll be okay and we'll have a great time either way. But if we want that lore drop, gotta go. We gotta make it happen. All right. Let's go ahead and Control D, and we're gonna pop right over there. The coils always had like two next to each other. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do, select both of those, bring them out here. So now we're going to turn these into our coilover shocks. For that, I think I want to employ this guy. Yeah, I think that's going to be the move. Give him more sides. Oh, okay. Let's find something like that. We can still go more sides. No. We don't want to do any of that. None of that. Okay. Calm down. Calm down. Here we go. What is steps? Does that fill in the middle? I don't know what steps does. Okay. Doesn't matter. This piece is going to be so itty bitty that like all those steps I just took are really kind of ridiculous when all is said and done. All right. We are going to shrink this on down. Very, very small. Right hand view of it. Bring it on up. And we still got to shrink that down even more. Pup Chase. Welcome on in.
Welcome, my friends.
I'm doing very good. I hope you're doing very well. We are working on a fresh version of a Perry Von Vicious monster truck design. I haven't had a new one of these on the merch tables in quite some time now. This will be the first new one on the merch table in, gosh, a couple years, I think. All right, let's go to a bottom view here. All right, that seems pretty good. Feel okay with that. It doesn't have to be perfectly centered. I'm in a very good mood. Been in a new job. Oh, nice. At O'Reilly's. And oh my God, place is chill. Better than hell yeah. Let's go. That's a big win. Hell yeah. Where's my celebration?
Cowabunga!
There we go. Out there making that money. Hang on, I got a noise for that too.
Money can be exchanged for goods and services.
Woohoo!
Pretty pleased with that one. All right, so we are going to make a copy of that guy. We are going to move it over onto that. So we'll have our two single coil shock absorbers right next to each other. I think they're going to need a little bit more space between them. So let's go ahead and pick that and just want enough space that you can tell it's two pieces. New boss wants to be a key holder. Oh, that a key holder? Or wants you to be a key holder. Oh, that's good. That's very good. It's nice when someone shows that they have trust in you, right? Feels good. All right, so we are going to select both of these. Control D. We're going to bring them up just to like there. And now. Ready for this? Boom, 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 boom. Come on. Instant coilover shocks from the old days, baby. Don't have to do that last one. Come on. Feel good about that. He's jealous of that. Let's go ahead and just scoochy that over just a little bitty bit. Now I'm kind of thinking, like, do we want to make these skinnier? Do we like them kind of big? I mean, maybe they're okay the way they are. It might be okay. Let's get a look at what it's going to look like in place. I think that's going to be the telling factor. Bring them over to like there, somewhere like there, maybe right about there. Like, to me, that looks okay. Like, that might be all right. I think that's going to work. So if that's the case, we're going to add a second set to the back. But to do that, I want to come back out here. It's always dangerous to do this. It's always tricky. I'm going to do it anyway. Group those. Let's make them red. Why not? We already added everything we need on this, so we can go ahead and did that select the ones on this side too? I think it did. Go ahead and group that. There we go. That's our suspension looking crisp and clean once it finishes grouping. There we go. All right, so let's Bring this back where we want it here. Something about there. Then let's go ahead and Control D. We're going to bring the duplicate back to the rear wheels. Let's get a look at this and make sure this is lined up just how we want it. I think that looks pretty slick, and I think that's going to print really nicely. And that's arguably more important. All right, so let's go ahead and make a copy of those. We will move it on over to match on the other side. Get that front view. Make sure the match is what we want. We want it a little bit proud. Possibly a little bit shorter. Well, no, I think that's going to be okay, just like that. All right. So now we got shocks, we got suspension, even connected where the 4-link bars are, so you don't see that ugly open spot. I'm happy with that. Yeah, I think we're looking pretty good. I don't think we need anything on the front or the rear, really. But I would like to add a little like cool tailpipe thing. Some kind of like, you know, oh, the engine's right there. You know, we want to see like where that came from. But I think what we're going to do is use the pipe piece for that. There is a pre-made, which means we can make it look different, which is pretty cool. Like it's a really nice, yeah, that's what we want. Bring that in. Very customizable. Bring that in. I said, there we go. Let's go ahead and I think maybe that's not it. Oh, hey now. Okay. I think it's wall thickness that I want to mess with. I think I want it to be like solid. Yeah, there we go. That's what we're looking for. That's the business. All right. Let's go ahead and shrink this down to a size that makes sense on this. Bring it on up. So flip it that way. All right, so this is going to take a few of these, and we're going to work them all together. Just got to figure out exactly. Okay, all right. Just got to figure out exactly what we want out of it. And then we can make this happen. So let's put it about there, just for the heck of it, just to figure out what we're doing. Because we really don't want this too proud. We don't want it past this. So we can come out a little more like there. Maybe even a little bit less than that. There we go. I think we want to probably something about like that. See, there are some on here. Let's take a look at what theirs looks like. They got them coming out backwards like the Monster Jam ones. I don't necessarily know if I want that. I do want to put that funny little muffler on that they have, though. I think that's funny. Okay. So we can actually work a few different pieces with that. And we will continue on this design. I have to step away for just one moment. So I will be right back. Go grab something to drink. Tell your friends to come watch, because we got another 30 some odd minutes of design work on this. So we'll be right back. All right, we are back into our design work here. Sorry about that, folks. But I have a pretty good idea here on what I want to do. So I think we're going to come back to that pipe piece in just a second. And we're going to bring in one of these. We're going to get it roughly shaped how we want it. Roughly spaced where we want it, I should say. It's, want this to go toward the front, probably about like here. You know, these are old trucks, these VWs, so they're front engine. You know what I mean? All right, we're gonna, whole thing is gonna be shrunk in a fair bit. Go to like there, and then to like here. We can down a bit. Now let's get it spaced where we want it. Oh, it's way too wide. We don't need this whole piece to be out. Come on. And make this way less of a hassle than that. All right. We're gonna just scooch it on in about the same distance out as the same distance out as the shock absorber, maybe. Maybe we can go a little bit more. We can probably go like there. Let's get that front view and see how that's going to behave. Yeah, I think that's okay. And now we're going to bring it down in sides, like way down. Make it very geometric. Then we add bevel. We're going to have to get way up on it to see. We need this bevel to be pretty notable. Something about there. This is meant now to sort of be the indicator of just like a header piece. You know what I mean? Let's go ahead and we can back it up a little bit. Something like that. Now this we're going to have a few of these that are all sort of going to connect. And I need to switch this angle as well so that it goes in and disappears. Yeah, that's what we want. That's the cool look that we want. Come on. Right. Well, this one about here. I don't wonder if we want this to be thinner. We probably go ahead and just give it that a little bit. Just a little, make it a little skinnier. A little scrawnier, a little skinnier. You know how it is. And is it connecting on all sides? No, of course not. Okay, that's what I want. I want it to be like that. Bring it up a little. New medication night again. Ooh. This one for sleep actually. Oh, that's good. Oh, I'm glad to hear it's an improvement. I always think my design streams are a little bit like a good sleep med. I feel like these streams can put people to sleep a little bit. So let's Control D. Bring this over to just like here. Just move it up just till it connects. Yeah, that's what I want. I want that separation. Let's just bring the whole thing up a little bit. Something like that. So let's make a copy of both of those. Ooh, actually, that works pretty great. Okay, all right. All right, Tinkercad. Oh, okay. All right, well, let's go ahead and lose a couple of these. It's that one. And that one. Let's take those and bring them on back to about match. Yeah. Let's bring them all up so that they kind of fit in the header space here. Yeah. That's going to look pretty cool. Well, let's just make sure. Okay. Yeah. The angle's good on that. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is just take this one. And let's see which sides lead out and which sides lead in. Okay, that's our lead out. Just got to work more slowly with it. Got to be a little bit more slowly than that. Come on, catch up to me. Catch up to me, Tinkercad. I dare you. There we go. Yeah, I like that. Now what I think I want to do is make a copy of that. Now I want to flip it. Flip it that way and that way. I think we can probably something like this. Yeah, that's going to work. All right, and on this one, the lead in is that one. We'll bring it back a little bit. It'll catch up to us in a second. Yeah. Now let's find that bend angle. Okay. I'm not right clicking on it. There we go. Right now it's set at 90, but let's make it less. Okay, that's not what I need, but we can work with that. Now we can just figure out what's going to make it match. Okay. Now let's go to about there. I think that's looking pretty good. Definitely gives us the indication of a little bit of some exhaust going on here. All right. Back just to like there. Because, and while that may look a little wonky there, that is a-okay. I'm going to take this piece that's been sitting here, the Chekhov's 3D element. Make it a little bit bigger, increase that bevel considerably. A little bit bigger. Now I can see it needs to be a little smaller. Chekhov's 3D element. That's a new joke for the stream. Okay, something about like that. Cut it over to 90-ish. Get up to about there. Over to here somewhere, and now we can futz with it and really get it to do what we want. So we definitely want to go a bit smaller, something like there. Get a bit shorter. Now we want to get that angle right. Yeah, that's looking good. Let's get the top-down view of it. Actually, maybe I just need to... Yeah, we definitely need to alter that angle ever so slightly. Something like right there. Now we can do that. Yeah. Our little exhaust system. Come on. Come on. That's so good. Robotic, in case you're still here within earshot, sleep well. Talk to you soon. If you are not, I mean the same, but I don't need to say it because you're not here to hear it. All right, so now just for the heck of it, I'm going to take these pieces. I'm going to group them, which is always iffy in this ridiculous program. Make them a little bit darker, I guess. Because why not? And then we're going to Control D the whole thing. We're going to mirror that bad boy. And we're going to bring it over and just make it sort of match. Something like about there looks about right. Okay. All right. Come on. Feeling good about that. I think that's the design we want.
He's jealous of that.
Just for the heck of it, let's assemble the whole thing and just see what happens. Can I change this thing's color? Of course not. See what's going on over here. Nothing. It's still sitting there spinning. Abysmal. See if that manages to put it together. If it doesn't, I can always redo some of that off stream, a lot of the same work, just to see what it does. But we should, over here, take this, and I'm going to go ahead and make it dark. This we can probably make lighter, right? Probably go like, yeah, something like that. I mean, the color's not going to matter because eventually it'll all be sort of melded into a single piece anyway. But let's go ahead and bring these over. We can really get them right where they need to be just by looking at how they line up with these pieces, which actually is looking pretty good. I think we'll call that good enough on that view. Now we will come over here and we will bring this on in and make it line up with where it's supposed to go, because it does have a specific way it's supposed to fit here. And it'll be about there. I think looks pretty good. Do we think it's too tall? Does it need to be lower still? I can make it lower. Like if we brought it down to like here or something, like maybe like there. There's no reason for that not to be the case. Tough call. Tough call. But think we've about got our design done here. I kind of like that it sits back on the tires. I think that's a very cool look because it's sort of reminiscent of how Sparkle Smash sits. And I think it's going to be really neat to have this be like the same scale as the Monster Jam trucks and have, put them next to each other and be able to like compare. But yeah, it's a simple design. I think it's going to be easy to paint, which is really important. The whole suspension is going to be all one color, and then the body will be one color with the lifted text being a different color. And then the tires will be probably black, and I'll keep the insides like white or something like that. I always kind of like the white hubs on the old monster trucks, like the Penda Points series trucks. I always thought it was kind of a slick look. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty confident in how this is looking. I think for the most part, this is looking okay. I think these back tires need to come back a little. Actually, all the tires need to come back a little. You can see it now a little more clearly. I've never been a huge toy car fan, but simply from an art and passion point, this is cool. Thank you. I appreciate that. This was one of the first things I started doing when I got 3D printer was opening Tinkercad and learning to make replicas of monster truck toys that I had as a kid. But moreover, I wanted to make in the same style. I wanted to make the trucks that they never got around to making. And that was really fun. Looking up a few more easy to play guitar songs, Blitzkrieg Bop. Yep, only 3 chords. Blitzkrieg Bop, Brain Stew by Green Day definitely falls in that category. Yeah, actually, I like that even better once I moved it back to like where that's actually supposed to go. Like, yeah, I'm gonna do a little bit of design work off stream to get this to sit at the height that I want it. But I think this is looking really slick. Like I'm exceedingly happy with this. Let me see what color did I go with here. This is the dark gray. How's it look? Yeah, I guess this is the right color. All right. I'm exceedingly happy with this. This is looking like there's multiple stages to monster truck development, right? There's stage 1 is essentially they were trucks that were just jacked up real big and given heavier and heavier parts with bigger tires. Stage 2 was sort of your late era leaf spring, early era tube frame. And stage 3 is really what we know now as like the modern Monster Jam, where there's really only like 2 or 3 chassis types. They're all kind of identical because we've sort of found what works. So that said, this is looking like somewhere around a stage 2, which is very cool. That's an era that I really loved when I was a kid. That was an era of monster trucks I really enjoyed watching. But yeah, I am very pleased with this. I think it looks a little bit better if I click those to let them sort of light up a bit. I'm just thinking through because I got to get a thumbnail of this when all is said and done here. But yeah, I think this is pretty good. Might be even past stage 3 for monster trucks. Yeah, it's true. I think we're kind of verging on stage 4. Stage 3, you can argue was like the early 2000s. Stage 2 largely would have been the early mid 90s, and stage 1 was everything prior to that. I think there's a pretty good argument for that. I don't know, Adam NX67, if you have Marty Garza's book. It's sort of a compendium, almost a textbook guide to monster truck technology. A fantastic read. It was gifted to me by the fine folks at the Monster Truck Hall of Fame and Museum in Butler, Indiana, when I went on a visit there, and I was recognized, which was pretty cool. It looks amazing. Will you make it in glow in the dark and galaxy colors too? Maybe. I haven't really thought through color choices on this. If I print it in a color that I already have resin for, the body anyway, that's really convenient because it's less paint, which also means less potential for paint chipping. It tends to not be an issue for me. I tend to, do a pretty good clear coat to keep everything, really safe. I don't have black resin, so I'm probably going to have to paint the tires myself. I'll probably use, I have like a prototype of gray resin. I'll probably use that for the chassis and then hit it with, I have the chrome paint. I like to do the chrome paint, but I know a lot of the Monster Jam trucks all sort of use like a black suspension, where they do like a cool color suspension. So maybe I'll do like a cool color there. I really haven't thought about what color to do the truck in. My VW is gray. So if I'm trying to make it look like my actual Volkswagen Rabbit, it'll be gray. Maybe that's something for me to consider. But I think it's going to look really cool next to the minifigs. I think it's going to be a really good combination. I'd pay for those in glow in the dark and Galaxy to go with my original Perry Von truck. We can arrange that. I'm open to doing like different colorways on these. Because that's sort of what happened with the one that you had. That was the Galaxy variant, Dizzy. It was a second printing of my first monster truck design, but I wanted something different, so I decided to paint them up all funky. And that was really cool because a lot of people who already had that toy, they bought the toy again because they were like, oh, well, this look is really cool, and I like the two next to each other. It made for a cool set. It's easy in toy making to sort of cheap out where colorways are concerned, because you're saving yourself the time and energy of making a new sculpt and making a new design. And, there can be some of that. I personally try not to do that because I don't like the idea that it will look cheap. And like people say, oh, it's the same toy, it's a different color. I try to avoid that. But in things like the Galaxy paint, I found like a way to make it look interesting and cool. So it was sort of like taking the pre-made design and making it new again. It really felt like a whole new toy. So I felt pretty good about that. I try to never cheap out on anything when I'm making the toys. Holster said he wants to commission me at some point. Yeah, absolutely. I'm easy to find. I believe he has me on Discord at the very least. I think he also follows me on Blue Sky. I try to keep an eye on my DMs. I'm not always the quickest to respond, but I do respond. Reed can attest to that. But yeah, I'm feeling pretty good about this. Very happy with it, and we are going to raid someone on the way out the door here. Let me see who is live on Twitch at the moment. Let's see. I saw the Mega 64 crew was live. I don't see them up there now. Let me refresh and see if they pop up again. We may raid Mega 64. Some of my favorite folks. They're always doing cool stuff. Looks like they're playing some Metal Gear Solid over on the Poorly Played stream. Look, Val Gilbert's running some NASCAR. I know Val doesn't talk or appear on stream, which is a shame. Val is an interesting character, and I think they would do well to be a little bit more on the stream. You know what I mean? Yes, Reed. After this weekend, I should have everything together and finished and ready to send out finally. But yeah, we're gonna raid. I think we're gonna raid the Mega 64 crew, and that should be pretty good. I think they're a lot of fun. So yeah, thank you all for joining me on a toy making stream. We don't get to do a ton of the 3D design these days because we had a whole bunch to paint, but we're back now, and I think this went really well. I'm super happy with the design here, and I can't wait to see what the finished product looks like once I get these printed, get them painted up and colored and off onto the merch tables. It would be really cool. I think it's going to go really nicely with those minifigures. So thanks everyone for hanging out. I will be back tomorrow night. 8 p.m. is the plan with Mr. Johnny Torres for our weekly Stardew Valley stream. And then Saturday, you know it, the Blitzkrieg Luau. Can Perry get one of those belts back? We going to find Perry on the upswing after the luau? Let's cross our fingers. All right. I will see you all tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Take care, my friends.